Hey there, folks. As promised, going to do a second live stream here about there's its own video. And that is the current proposal on the table, I believe, from the House of Representatives about sending $2,000 a month for at least 6 months to every adult and $500 per kid up to 3 kids. So if you look at the maximum, assuming you qualified, which we will get to in a minute, you could, in theory, get $5,500 a month for at least 6 months and up to 12 months from the federal government. This is building on the idea of the $1,200 check, which started to hit people's bank accounts yesterday. I've heard from multiple people that came through. But now there's a general impression that the one-time $1,200 is not enough. If you've been following this channel for any length of time, a frequent daily discussion months ago, or at least a month ago, was we need to set up monthly, I call them payments, I don't know what else you call it, to adults, to families for every month this is a national emergency. That is something I called for. But now to see it actually proposed in the House means we got to review what they're thinking. But I also have to ask, what does it mean? Because I think it is very clear that a second direct payment is coming. I think it is equally possible that repetitive checks could be coming. And I say checks, mean it could be electronic deposit, it could be a debit card, it could be something. But essentially, the federal government pays us to stay home, because that's the greatest fear for the bottom, the bottom end of our economy is it's a choice between working to pay the bills, feed your family, keep shelter, and getting sick, or maybe making someone else sick. Those are the choices that are being reviewed at daily. So let's talk about the current proposal. And again, this is just a proposal. It has come out of the House. It hasn't passed the House. It hasn't passed the Senate. It's not being signed. But I think it's pretty clear another direct payment is coming. So the current proposal is it's taking the $1,200 amount per adult and raising that to $2,000. It is taking the limit, which I believe was $75,000 for the $1,200, and raising that to $130,000, which is very frightening. And they're still giving $500 per kid up to 3 kids. This is now going to be, again, in the proposal, is monthly. And it is monthly for at least 6 months. And then it actually puts in a clause, which really freaks me out, until unemployment falls to pre-pandemic levels. That's where this argument falls apart. Because what you're doing now by potentially sending $5,500 a month to a household is, again, you're paying them more, at least in much of the country. I don't know what percentage, but probably much of the country, you're paying them more than they would by working in retail or restaurants or other. So why do you think unemployment would fall? I mean, I just don't get that. But so what does this mean? Let's assume a version of this goes through. Let's just play the dominoes out. Okay, let's pick a number. Let's say it's $4,000. Oh, look at you. You got your money. Congrats. That's cool. So let's assume you propose, let's say it's $4,000 per household, because we have to pick a number. If it's 5,000, 4,000, it doesn't matter, whatever comes. And let's assume it is monthly for 6 months. So first, what happens is you remove any notion of revolt, right? The people aren't going to run out and start just breaking stuff and stealing stuff and stuff that you've basically made it so every man, woman, and child could feed themselves and put shelter, right? Next is you're going to remove much, not all, but much of the landlord risk. Most folks could pay their rent if the government is giving them $4,000. Not everybody, but most. So this contagion effect of mortgages and rents and landlords, that cascading effect should stop. It won't eliminate it. There'll be some Class A stuff that gets in trouble. There'll be some markets like the Bay Area, New York, that are in trouble where we just are unaffordable. And I've been telling you that for a while. Unaffordable is unaffordable. It doesn't matter. But much of the country will be okay. So I think what you do by sending $4,000 a month and making it like a paycheck so people can count on it, that's what the 1,200 wasn't. It's a one-time, one-off. You can't count on it. So yes, you get it, but you're concerned for the future. That's what parents do. That's what adults do, is they're concerned for the future. Yep, great, $1,200, save it, whatever it is. But when you make it at least 6 months, is you remove some future concern, which is something we still have today. People are afraid. So again, I think you remove some of that risk. I think you make rent collection easier. I think you make some mortgage payments easier. You remove that down the line effect. But what happens in 6 months? What happens in 12 months? What have we done? I'm nervous, and this is actually where Jonathan and I disagree. Jonathan and I's interview happens on every Thursday at 7 a.m. Pacific, so that'll be up in a few hours. But we disagreed on what could happen after this. My fear is we just entrenched more folks being hooked on government support, right? Going into this event, we had 3.5% unemployment. What does it look like at the end of this, right? Because again, we're talking $4,000 a month, and oh, by the way, unemployment benefits on top of this. Man, people could be making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, where do we think this goes? This has to lead to inflation. What bad behavior happens? It's just frightening to see what happens. And again, if you're telling everybody who used to make $2,000 a month that they can sit on their couch and make $4,000, and they have no financial literacy, how can this not end in just, it's just frightening to think about what this could end like. So, I'm probably more scared now than I was even a month ago, about what could happen. So, again, I think we have to, I don't think it's kind of like the worst of two options or the best of two horrible options. I do think we have to take the future concerns off the table. I do think we need to say, hey, as long as this is a national emergency, we are going to be sending monthly checks to every adult at some income level, and support for kids. It just has to happen. It's crazy. So I do think we need to take that risk off the table, but I don't know where this ends. Again, I am most afraid about what this looks like at the end of this. What have we created in our economy when this is long gone? And if that's 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, I don't know. But has the American dream been muted for a portion of our economy? I don't know. I'm generally a glass half full kind of person, but this does scare me a little bit. About what this could do. So I just thought we should talk about this. I'd love to hear what you think. Do you think we're going to do this? Do you think we're going to send monthly checks? Yeah, I think that's definitely what I'm afraid of. Okay, so let me know what you think. You have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and post Jonathan's interview now. All right, take care. Bye.